Good evening, dear friends. I say evening because it's 6 p.m. Today we had a busy day in the Hsinchu region. Right now, we're choosing Dong Fang Mei Ren tea, or Eastern Beauty tea. I believe it's one of the most famous types of tea in Taiwan. The tea fermentation process begins when the leaves get bitten by the tea jassid, a small insect that feeds on the tea plant. Later on, the makers will start to cultivate the tea. Currently we're at a workshop where tea leaves are undergoing the primary process. Afterwards the leaves will be baked. Producers use different time periods for every stage of processing. This is the reason why Dongfang Mei Ren can be different in taste and have unique flavors. Makers can experiment at the final stage by regulating the amount of fire. Moreover, it depends on weather conditions. When the weather is bad, producers don't collect any tea. It's important to note that Dongfang Mei Ren is an insect tea, produced from leaves bitten by the tea jassid, so no fertilizer is used, simply because it would kill the insects. So Dongfang Mei Ren is considered an organic tea. Dried leaves of high quality exhibit a pleasant aroma, which spreads all over the factory. Currently the tea is on the shelves. In a while it will be dried out. Like any other oolong, in the primary stage of processing, Dongfang Mei Ren is frequently shaken. The movements should be smooth and gentle. The leaves should not be damaged. It's hard work. The leaves are shaken for half an hour before moving to the next stage. Afterwards, the tea is salted and put on trays. It stays untouched for some time because the shape of the leaves has changed. The tea fermentation process moves on. Repeated shaking goes on 5 times. Afterwards, the tea is put on trays. Right now it was the 4th time. The drying process takes place in this section of the workshop. There are several dryers. This is the penultimate stage. The tea is still warm. It looks almost ready for sale, but 1 more week is necessary in order for it to be finally dried. Dongfang Mei Ren can be produced in different ways. Most of the time it's a separate stage of production. One person is mainly concentrated on the drying process. Dryers are usually used. Some people say that it's more effective because there's no aroma of wood or smoke fumes. But I personally think that there's something special and unique in these aromas. Simply, we can get different kinds of tea by using different production methods. Some people enjoy a natural fruity aroma, which we can smell right now. Others prefer a dry and thick aroma. The drying stage, production-wise, most probably, is one of the most difficult processes. The tea manufacturing process takes 19 hours, starting from picking and primary drying and ending with tea sorting. When I come to the factory, I always catch only one part of the Dongfang Mei Ren tea production. If somebody wanted to check the full tea processing method, they'll have to stay for the whole day. Temperature and humidity are very important factors in the fermentation process. As we can see, the temperature is 25.7 degrees and the humidity is 70.9%. Otherwise, the fermentation process will not be correct and effective. Room temperature is optimal for oolong tea, while red tea requires warmer degrees. These doors are used to close the production area in order to maintain the perfect microclimate. Today, we're at the Dong Fang Mei Ren tea plantation. We're a little bit late. The tea has already been collected today. Nevertheless, we'd like to check out the very little grasshoppers who nibble the tea leaves. The tea leaf fermentation begins on the tea bush. I saw one insect, and I'll try to catch it now. They're very small. It's quite windy. Therefore, they're not very comfortable because of the weather. There are a few of them. It's very easy to identify where they were a couple of moments ago, because the leaf that he's just bitten is usually darkened and bends over a little. So when you see a leaf like that, it means that he was just there. Fuqinzu is the local Chinese name of this particular grasshopper. Presence of insects at the plantation is vital in order to get Dongfang Mei Ren tea. Plant watering is not required. As we can see, grass grows around bushes. It will be removed by hand. Fertilizers are not used, otherwise the insects will die. The grasshopper sits on the tip of the leaf.
Вот, на кончике сидит, на верхушке. Вот побежал.
Вижу.
Он сидит пока, давай снимай.
We spent around 1 hour at the plantation trying to spot grasshoppers. They're so small, and it's quite difficult to see them. Finally, we saw our friends. During summer, you can see more insects at the plantation. The plants get darker because they're bitten by insects. The amount differs. Collecting and picking tea by yourself is considered to be a good tradition. We'll try to finish the production process by ourselves. My son and I went for a trip last spring. He was able to collect some amount of young tea, and as a result it was a sweet-tasting beverage. Shuizhang from Weishan region was really good. Right here, he was able to collect Dongfang Mei Ren. Some sprouts are incorrectly shaped. As we can see, this sprout has been bitten by insects. The colour of its leaf is dark, and so the fermentation process has begun. This one is also bitten by grasshoppers. Most of the leaves are still untouched by insects. Ideally, there should be more insects, and Dongfang Mei Ren should be grown in warmer areas. It's quite cold right now. Our Chinese friends are quite specific guys. I just arrived at the plantation. It's very quiet. There are no people around. Yet, we can hear someone that's listening to loud music. He's actually the owner of a neighbouring farm. He doesn't own this particular tea plantation, the factory does. It's very common that tea plantations are located 20 kilometers away from the factory. Land is one aspect, and production area is another. Anyway, I can hear loud radio all the time, but there were no people around. Just recently someone came over. It's a typical Chinese habit. A continental Chinese radio station is played, not a local one. Small mountain roads are a geographical feature of the region. You can hardly see the road in the dark. Super narrow, single-lane roads. I enjoy the Taiwan mountains. Beautiful nature with green colours. A wide variety of plants in the ecosystem. One of the distinguishing features of Taiwanese is that people from Taiwan like to plant flowers close to the house. Flowers are everywhere. Beautiful temple. We're leaving the tea plantation. Very unusual pathway. Bright, colourful houses that catch the eye are very common in Taiwan. Reminds me of our Siberian old believers who used to build smaller houses with geometric shapes painted on the walls. A strange person with deer antlers on their head. Other animals and some kind of zoo represents wall art paintings. Perhaps it originates from ancient times when the native population used to make wall paintings. And now it's a modern technical vision of old patterns and traditions. We're visiting a farmer who specialises in the method of Dong Fang Mei Ren production. He owns a medium-sized farm that's hidden in the mountains. He makes high-quality tea. We came here by accident. I don't know the owner. We decided to take a shortcut and cross the mountains. This is Dongfang Mei Ren. Now we're going to try red tea. Dongfang Mei Ren is sealed in its original packaging. The owner says if we open it and don't touch it for some time, the tea will be even more tasty and aromatic. It's a really cool tea feature. When heavily oxidized, the tea has a sweet tasting flavor. Light colored Oolong alpine kinds of tea, like Goshan Cha from the Wishan region, don't need to be heavily oxidized. When the tea temperature cools down, the aroma becomes stronger. High-quality tea that has won prizes at competitions becomes more expensive. It's cheaper if you can buy it before the competition. He said that tomorrow the tea will be even better. Our hospitable friend gave us Bai Sa Cha type of tea that has won a prize at a competition. He also tells a lot of interesting facts about different methods of Dong Fang Mei Ren tea production. You can see two types of tea on the table. One type is a mid-quality Dong Fang Mei Ren, and the other is a high-quality Dong Fang Mei Ren tea. The sprouts of the higher quality tea are smaller. It's harder to collect. Around 300 grams of primary product can be collected in one day. Moreover, it takes 60 days to grow such a small bunch, and it doesn't get any bigger in size. Technically, I believe it's one of the highest quality types of tea. You'll find a wide price range for Dongfang Mei Ren tea. One type can be 50 or 100 times more expensive than another. You can find less expensive Dongfang Mei Ren tea. The size of its sprouts is bigger. The sprout size of about 1.5 centimeters is considered good quality tea. Meanwhile, the plant bud size indicator of high quality premium tea should be around 0.5 centimeters. We spent the night at this farm, owned by one of the factories. Now we visit another tea plantation. Yesterday, we were able to catch some of the green grasshoppers that bite tea leaves. Let's check if we can spot them. It's raining today. The workers are having a rest and don't collect tea. It's too bad, because we wanted to check the process. Anyway, we'll try to find grasshoppers. According to the locals, we're next to a perfect bush with small sprouts. The workers will collect tea sometime soon. You can clearly see bitten sprouts. The leaf tips turn red. I can see exactly the same sprout right now. I'll pick it by hand. You can see the red eaten sprouts. Grasshoppers jump from plant to plant. They are small in size. Perhaps we'll have a chance to spot them. This is a perfect example of a bush that will turn into good quality Dong Fang Mei Ren tea. The sprout is small. Bai Sa Cha competition tea is manufactured with careful selection of fine raw materials. Enjoy your tea.
这样以后掏啊，来边边掏啊，一边